In celebration of having over 200 subscribers, which I'm appreciative of all of you, thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying the show so far. But in celebration of that, and also to try to give you guys an understanding, what we're doing with this little video is I want to show you how the video camera works, how the Helmetcam works. Because I get a lot of people message me, you know, what kind of gear do you use, what kind of helmet camera do you use, how do I get my own helmet camera, and all that. So we're going to take some time to answer that specifically. You know, I know that Catfish Rap did a video like this, and I know that Fusion Pie did a video like this, and there's probably dozens of others on YouTube that I haven't even found yet. But I want to throw this out there because, well, a lot of people ask me the same question over and over again, so if I haven't found it, that means they probably haven't found it either. First of all, let's talk about the helmet cameras. When you're talking about helmet cameras, there are so many varieties to choose from that a lot of people tend to get lost. And that's why they kind of send private messages to people who've done it saying, what do you use? How does it work? And, well, frankly, the cost is what turns a lot of people off from the helmet cameras. And that's why stuff like this is really good. This is Oregon Scientific's helmet camera. I believe it's called the ATC 1000. And in the back of it has the battery pack, it has a slot for a simple SD card, which is what it uses, and it has the camera and microphone up in the front, and it has a simple display right here. A lot of people end up going with something like this because it's fairly inexpensive. This camera, I bought it on sale for $50 at Best Buy. And for the money, it wasn't that bad. It's about $50 worth of camera. But you get what you pay for, because the quality, quite frankly, sucks. The other main problem I've had with this camera is that the sound does not sync correctly. For a lot of people this would not be a problem, but for me it's a major problem because, well, I'm a perfectionist. The other thing is you have to buy a memory card. There's just no way around that. There's onboard memory which lasts for about 2 minutes of footage, and not many paintball games last 2 minutes, so you have to buy a brand new card. It has advantages. The advantage number one is that there's nothing attached to it, so you can literally just plug it in and go. But honestly, for the money, this thing is not that bad if you're not expecting any really high quality results. But for most of the videos that you guys watch, that you guys see in the FPS series, I'm using this camera right here. This is the helmet camera from helmetcam.com. This is the low end of it. So this is the 380 line version. They make a mid-range and a high-range version as well, but this is the cheapest one that you can get. And the quality is surprisingly good for what you're getting. The money that you spend on this, you get the microphone rig, you get this, and what really drew me to this in the first place, you get this, which is a protective shield. And this is pretty hardcore. This is pretty beefy. The way that this works is that the camera itself actually slides into here, into the protective housing, and it rests up against a piece of plexi that fits right on the front, right here. The advantage to this, obviously, is you get higher quality. Organization on a paintball field?
Oh yeah, nobody ever really does what they're supposed to, but if they do, it works.
The disadvantage is the wire. You have to plug it into a recording unit, and of course, by plugging it in, you need a wire. Attaching it to your gear is actually pretty simple and straightforward, and it took me a bit of trial and error to get where I liked it, but I kind of like the setup I've got right now. What I do is, I bought this from the people at helmetcam.com. It's a goggle band attachment. And the way that this works is that you just take the protective housing and you slide it into this sleeve like that, and it leaves enough of this protruding out so that it doesn't block any vision. And then when you're wearing the goggles, it stays nice and tight to the head. It doesn't shift. It doesn't move around. Some of the other rigs that I've used is I'll take zip ties or a piece of string, or I've taken shoelaces and I have tied it to the grill of the mask, which is why you get some of those really strange angles when I'm playing. But it's a work in progress. It's always a work in progress. Then there's the attachment of the microphone. That was experimentation all on its own. But what I ended up doing was I ended up putting the microphone on top of the visor so that it is sticking out right here. The wire runs down the side of the mask. I usually take a zip tie and I zip tie it to here so that there's a little bit of slack. and then the wire just runs straight back down into the recording unit. One of the other disadvantages to using the helmet camera system is that it is battery powered. This is the battery pack that comes with the base unit, and this just slides right in as such and powered up. Now, you're probably looking at this and saying, wow, that's a lot of wiring, a lot of connections, and actually there's a lot that can go wrong with it, and it has in the past. This connector can just slide right out if you're not careful. I've had these things snap on me, but it's technical. Anything that has tech to it is going to break. You just have to accept that, and you have to know that it's going to happen and then do what it takes to minimize the risk. This little device right here will save your life. This is a remote push button. They come in different types and different varieties, and every company that sells helmet cameras makes one of these things. You plug this end into the camera, and then this end over here has a basic push button on it so that you can turn the camera on and off without having to dig into whatever you're using to go get the camera again. This thing, well worth the money that you spend on it. One of the things that the helmet camera sites tell you, but a lot of people just tend to ignore, is that you need a recording unit. You need to have the camera attached to something to record the video that comes from the camera. The camera itself, with the exception of the Oregon Scientific one, the camera does not hold the recording, it just captures video. So you need a unit. What I did was I purchased a video camera. I purchased a digital video camera, and I have a wire that plugs into the camera. You're probably saying, why is there rubber bands on it? It's because, well, during Castle Conquest last year, this fell out, and I didn't know it until after the game was over. So I'd lost easily an hour, hour and a half of video footage, which really bites too, because it was some really good stuff. So I actually now have this pushing into the camera as I'm playing, so that it minimizes the cord being pulled out. But a lot of you places now sell these little units that record onto these small little digital formats, and it records into MP4 format, which is fantastic. You know, if they'd had that, I'd have gone for it. Although in retrospect, it's kind of better this way because now I have a decent video camera as well. So, you know, I don't have to make it look like MySpace when I'm doing video stuff. Now you're probably saying that's all nice, but how do you carry all this stuff on the field with you? Because it's got to be kind of bulky, and it is. You have a couple options. They sell like these little packs you can carry that will hold the camera and hold the batteries and stuff, or you can do what I did and you can find something. I actually found this in a container store. It's a small little hip pouch that's meant for travelers, but it holds everything just perfectly. It holds the camera, the battery pack, the excess wires, and I can open this up and hold a lot more stuff in here too. So I'll put a spare video cassette in there, new batteries, everything that I'm going to need to film all day. So I can literally be on the field for 2, 3, 4 hours and not have to go back to the car because of my filming.